Yeah, after a couple months of trying to rest my hand because it was actually giving me some issues, I am back at the easel. And today we're going to paint this macaw. It's a beautiful, kind of like a parrot, real bright colors and pretty, very pretty. Anyways, it's been a while. Like I said, it's been a couple of months. I've been doing little things, and I've actually been working on a craft show that I'm doing with my daughter. We decided to collaborate on this, and I've been making various things for that too, which kind of rested my hand a bit, and that was all nice for me. Gave me a little bit of relaxing for that, and something that I needed for my hand. It's still bothering me. It's my wrist, but it's not as bad as it was where I could not do anything. So so glad to be back here in the studio painting with you. I missed everyone, and I hope everyone is doing fine. Yeah, I will have this pattern up on Patreon. If you become a patron for $1 a month, you can get a pattern. So hopefully you'll support me and we can work on this together today. So I transferred the image onto the canvas. This is I think this is a 16 or 11. What the heck size is this? I can't remember. Let's see, because I did this a while ago. I think this is a 16 by 20 or 18 by 20. I think it's 16 by 20, sorry, canvas. And it's a gallery wrap. You can see that I have the staples around the other side. It's not a very good canvas. I don't buy very good canvases. I get them on sale whenever Jerry's has like a sale on them. Or I get them at Hobby Lobby where you get 5 for so much money, you know. So they're not really good, but they're good enough to teach on. So we're going to start. I'm going to show you the colors we're using today. We're going to have cobalt blue. Now this is a Amsterdam color. It's going to be a various different shades here. I just buy the colors when I need them and whatever's on sale. I'm using cad yellow medium, or you can use a chrome yellow, whatever you have in your supplies. I have phthalo green. I'm going to be using some phthalo green. Now this one was the one that I purchased that was a clearance. Now since then phthalo green has become either green or blue, so it's up to you what you want to use. I'm using this one. It should be fine. A bright red. So this is brilliant red. This is Artist Loft shade from Michaels. We also will need our white, titanium white. This one is from Hobby Lobby. So as you can see, I am using various shades. And we're also going to use Mars Black. So here's Mars Black in Basics right here. Now you have to know that they changed their formula in Basics, and I think I talked about this before I went on my sabbatical, I guess you could say. And there's something wrong with this color now. This Basics brand. It's not like it used to be. And I just bought this, and it's not too long ago, and it comes on in a glob. But if you add some water to it, you can like water it down, and it'll be fine. So I'll show you what I mean when we get into that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a 3/4 inch flat, or whatever you have on hand. I have that over here, I believe. Did I put it over here? Okay. So this is a number 12. It's a bright, but it's close. I'm going to wet it a little bit. going to put it in my water there, and I'm going to mix 2 parts of my titanium white to 1 part yellow. So I'm going to put out my titanium white on my palette. And my chrome yellow, or I have cad yellow. So if you have cad yellow, chrome yellow, same thing. So now I'm just going to take that off a little bit. Just have a damp brush. You don't need it just helps to make things flow easier. So I'm going to mix the 2 parts in 1 part. So hopefully you can see this. So it's going to be fairly light. So it's nice and movable here. With that little bit of water that's on my brush, it kind of makes it nice and smooth. Alright, so where I'm going to put this is I am going to make a circular shape at the top of my canvas on this side. That's my left side. So we're just going to go in a circle here. Circular shape. And you should be able to see your yellow. Just a circular shape. Just like that. And it takes a nice part of this. You know, we want that circular shape right there. And wipe off anything that's extra. And I'm going to wipe my brush with a paper towel so I can smooth that a little bit better. I'm going to actually take that over the edges a little bit. I have enough in my paintbrush here that I can do that. But it's a nice circular shape. Now don't wash this. We're going to use the same brush, and we're going to mix 1 part titanium white with 1 part of chrome yellow. So it's going to be a little darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my chrome yellow to some of this. Make it a little darker. And a little bit of my phthalo green. So I'm going to get my phthalo green out. If I can open it. Yeah, there we go. Phthalo green. And we're going to add a small amount of phthalo green, just a tad now, because phthalo green it's a pretty strong shade. I mean, it's very strong. So see, I have my yellow here, 1 part, and just a little bit, and we get that really pretty green. You can add a little bit more of that just to lighten it up if you want. Okay. And we are going to go in let's see, we're going to blend this, use this paint, we're going to blend it around this circle. Okay, we're going to kind of just come in and blend it. So I'm doing crisscross strokes just to kind of get it on. And we're going to blend it really into that yellow. Into that circle. Just come around here. We're going to bring it down. Okay, and we're going to actually we're just going to kind of stop right at that area right here before the branch that the bird is sitting on. I'm still using my 3/4 inch brush. Now, we want to blend that a little better. So I'm just going to pick up I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to pick up some of that yellow again and just kind of blend it into this a little bit better here. Okay, so we want that, but we still want that lightness. So, see, when I blend, I kind of just blend it in a circle. All right. blend it, blend it, blend it. Oh, look at how nice that blended. That was very good. So what we're going to do, it looks like we have a little bit more of this lighter shade around the bird. So let's just kind of make that a little bit lighter here around here, this bird. And I think we're going to, let's see, we're going to mix a medium green, but we want that nice texture right there. So we're going to mix a medium green, but I'm just going to take it to the bird. If you go over the bird, it's okay. Let's get some of the sides here. Like right where this stops. Because you might want to, if you have one of these that are gallery wrapped, you kind of want to get those sides like I always say. Get a little bit more of my yellow just to kind of brighten that up a little. Just kind of go while that is still wet. Bring it out here. Let's bring it in. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, now we got that part in. And I hope you're enjoying this so far. Hopefully you will leave me a comment. I love when people leave me comments. I don't get too many. I don't know. Do you get bored with my paintings that you don't watch the whole thing? I'm not sure. But I would like to know so I can, change that. So now we're going to mix 2 parts of the chrome yellow with 2 parts of the phthalo green. So let's see here. We got the chrome yellow and phthalo green. We're going to make a nice dark green here. That's pretty. Look at how pretty that color is. Alright, and we are going to use this medium green to go around and slightly blend in this with the texture. And we're going to go into this area a little bit here. We're going to bring it on down, all the way down, and we're going to come over here. So we'll start over here, go around Mr. Birdie, I certainly missed doing paintings here. I've been so busy with summer, and then I have to tell you, I did start a new job, which I wasn't hoping to do. I kind of took the summer off, just trying to recover from things. I wasn't feeling so great, so with my hand and everything. So even though it's still not quite better, I'm better than I was, so that's important. Just going around the bird, and I'm still using that brush. Now in these little areas where his beak is and all that, we're just getting that texture going. I'm doing the crisscross strokes. We might have to use a smaller brush, and that'll be fine, because I will use a smaller brush also. Okay. Just going around and around. Maybe just a little bit down in through here, we'll put some of that. And I'm probably going to end up mixing a little bit more of my green here. I'm running out, so I'm going to get some more of my yellow on my palette. Ooh, I guess I'm starting to get down on my yellow there. So you want to mix enough that you're going to cover all of this. Get the texture going. So I'm making like crisscross strokes. I'm going to grab some yellow green and kind of blend that in with that. So just lightly when you're blending, you just do it lightly. You don't want to go too heavy with that. Same up here, we'll blend it a little bit more here. Just pick up some of your yellow, and that'll blend in really nice with that. Just get some of that yellow green going here. Just blend it in. It kind of just blends in with the rest of it. Now see, because this is dried, it won't blend as well. So you have to do this kind of quick, but not that you're going to lose everything. You know, you just want that texture. You don't want to lose what you have already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe my brush and go into that light yellow again, and that's fine. You can do this. You don't, you know, that's the thing about acrylics. You can move fast with this, and then you can go back and work it again. Acrylics are fun. They, I enjoy working with acrylics because, you know, they're fast drying. They're easy to work with. If you're careful, they don't get muddy. They just work really nice. I like them. And if you find that your paint is starting to dry, what you can do is add a little water to them. So, and they're non-toxic. I mean, there are colors that are toxic, but for the most part, acrylics aren't toxic like your oils are. But I think they're starting to realize that now, and since a lot of people are getting cancer who paint, I think they're trying to formulate it so it's not toxic. You can use the water-based oils also with this. There's a lot of things you can do with water-based oils. Are very nice also. They take a little bit more time to dry, but they are still nice to work with. We're going to go back over that again too, I think. Everywhere that I have like any kind of indent or whatever it might be, I am being very careful. And I will probably end up getting a smaller brush. Putting more color out onto my canvas. And mixing. So I'm mixing a little bit more of my yellow and my phthalo green. Being very careful around the bird's little feathers here, and still going nice and hard on here, twisting my brush, doing figure eights, making texture. You know how Bob Ross always used to do that? This is what I'm doing, texturizing. It's texture. I'm adding texture. You want to add texture to this because you're going to have leaves in here. So make crisscross strokes. Get that texture in there. Probably need some around here some more. getting that texture going here some more. The more texture, the better this painting will turn out. So now because I want to get nice and close to these feathers, I'm turning my canvas a different way. And sometimes you'll have to do that. You'll have to turn it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can turn it. There's nothing wrong with tracing an image onto your canvas, because there's many people that can't draw. And they can paint, but they don't know how to draw as well. So tracing a picture is not bad, as some people will say in the art world, or they feel like it's cheating. It's not cheating. I'm gonna get the sides while I'm at it here. Make those texture too. Just going to add a little water to this. It's always easier to go over the sides, with a little bit of a damper brush. Now, if you can't see what I'm doing, I hope my hand is not in the way. Now, I'm going to go into these little spots where I missed because I want to get closer and I don't want to use a big brush. I'm going to be doing that next. Okay, so let me get the top here, or the bottom. Make sure you do this. It just makes things look more professional to me. I mean, there's a lot of artists that don't do the sides and these little... If you have a flatter canvas or a canvas board, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because it makes my painting look better. Okay? All right. Okay. Now let me get a smaller brush. I'm going to put my brush in the water because I want that to get wet. I'm going to use this little filbert. This is a number 4 filbert. And I'm just going to use that to get into my little areas here. Because I can turn that. And get close even. Still being textured. I'm still texture painting. Kind of just putting in that texture in there. I'm going to wet that a little bit. I'm putting my little finger down on the canvas so I can get around and have a better, because since my hand has been, or my wrist and fingers have been really sore, that's just osteoarthritis. Since that's been happening, I have been shaky. So this helps to stabilize my hand and my fingers. And we'll be doing some work with those feathers anyways, but we still want to make it look nice, you know. Don't want to have like uckies. See, if I don't have my finger down, I'll start to shake. So this helps to control. It controls my hand. Right, and there's a little piece right in there, so I'm going to get some of my yellow on my brush and just kind of go in here with that. Get a little closer to that. Alright, now I want to rinse my brush kind of get more of that yellow coming out of there. So it's not rinsed enough. All right, so I'm going to get my yellow out again. I'm running out. I'm going to put some white on my palette. And I'm going to mix that yellow and white up. And it's always a good idea to have baby wipes near you. I've been doing this quite a bit since I've been working on a lot of crafts. It just helps clean your hands if they're getting messy. If you don't like that mess on your hands. It'll even clean off your brushes. I mean, it'll take some of that paint out of there. So remember, we started out with 1 part yellow, 1 part white. Okay, I'll just go in a circle here. Kind of bring that out. And we can still blend this. We're going to get a little water and we're going to blend it out. Can still blend even if it's dry. Just add a little water to your paintbrush and it'll blend right in there. See how that did? Very nice. All right, now down in here we have that green yellow, so I'm going to make some of that too. Get that a little bit better too. Come over in here. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Well, I can go into my lighter yellow for this too, because you want to blend it into that. Have that blend up in. Don't fret over this. I mean, excuse me. If you feel that it's not blended properly, that's all right, because you're going to have some bushes and shrubs that come in here. You know, like this is like in the Amazon. We're going to pretend like we're down in the Amazon. And all these beautiful birds are there. And people are trying to destroy it. So we want to keep that habitat. And this is your habitat right here. So just do your best. That's all you can do. And I'd love to see some of your paintings. If you're doing some of this work, you can always post it on my Pittsburgh Artist Studio on Facebook, or send it to me and I'll post it. If you can't post it, because I don't know, I try to have that open to people, but I'm not sure that you're able to post to it. So I'm learning as I go. If people are interested in posting things, just to let me know, and I will post them if you can't do it. Okay, I think we have this pretty good now. Okay, this is good here. We got that blended real nice. You can go lighter. I mean, just have a light touch and it'll blend. See, light touch. Light touch. Doesn't have to be a hard touch here. Okay, got that now. Okay, now we're going to continue to use our number 12 bright, and we are going to make some foliage in the back here. So what we're going to do is we want to use 2 parts titanium white, 2 parts chrome yellow, and 1 part phthalo green. And we want to make enough because we're going to use it for a while. So let's get our 2 parts of white. Let me get more white out of here. 2 parts white, 2 parts of the yellow, I have to get some more yellow, it looks like. Now, if you live near a Hobby Lobby, I love their thick body acrylic. If you ever get near a Hobby Lobby, it's very nice. It's a nice texture of paint, and it's very nice to work with. So what I did, instead of putting any phthalo green out for now, I just put it in my pile where the phthalo green was. I'm going to mix this. I am going to put more in because it has to be a little darker. That phthalo green, you got to remember, it is a pretty dark shade by itself. So when you're doing this, you know, just keep that in mind because it is pretty intense shade. If you're using the Galleria, I mean, they're all about the same when using these paints. They're all about the same. I think I need a palette knife to mix this. So I'm going to go get my palette knife in order to mix this. Possibly trying to find it might be a little bit of a trick. I was using it for my, well, I have to tell you, this is another endeavor that I was on. Oh, I don't know where my palette knife is. Doggone. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess I don't know where it's at. I had it right here on my table. My workbench here, and I don't see it. So, oh, here it is. Here we are. Got my palette knife. So you might want to use your palette knife in order to mix this because it really makes a mess out of your brush. And you get a better mix. Sometimes you just get a better mix. If we weren't using such a large amount, it would be different, but this is kind of a large amount, and we sure as heck want to get it mixed up good. Okay, I'm going to wipe off my brush because I don't like it up in the furrow of the brush because it gets stuck up there. Alright, so we're going to use this. Now, you should come out with a shade similar to that. We're going to use this, and we are going to put in some foliage, okay? So, this can be at your discretion. You do not have to follow what I am doing. You can, you know, come up with your own design here where the foliage is. I'm going to make sort of like a little stem, okay, and we're going to just paint V's. So we got a V here. We're going to start with this. It's just going to be a V. Make sure you have enough paint on your brush to do this. V-shaped, V-shaped, V-shaped. V, 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 V. These are V shapes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this quickly. I'm going to speed up the camera so you don't have to watch me doing all this. I mean, you'll see me doing it, but you know, it's going to be a little bit speedy. Just maybe even use the tip of your brush However easy, see, I like it kind of like this, like that, like a stroke. But you can make them any which way you want, just as long as they're in the shape of a V. Okay? All right. Okay, I'm going to stop the speed here. I am going to use a smaller brush. That one's just not working out too well for me. So I'm going to use the number 4. It's a flat. We'll see how that works. Now I added a little white in here because these are going to be further in the back. So these are further back and I like this brush better. Okay. So they're going to be a little lighter, and then we're going to put something on top of that. So we're just going to have lighter ones. And I added white to what I already made. Okay. And you can change the brush size because that was just way too big. Way, way too big. Okay. All right, before I go on, I realized I missed a step. So, I'm sorry about that. We're going to mix a little Morris Black into our mixture here. This has to be darker. So I'm going to wipe this off right here. See, you can do a lot with the baby wipes. And we have to get this branch in too. So, I am going to make a mix of 2 parts of chrome yellow and 2 parts phthalo green, and then I'm going to add a little bit of Morris Black into this to get it darker down here. We want that dark. So, let me make that mixture. Oops. Gee whiz. There goes everything. I start to drop stuff. That's my issue since my hand got messed up. I'm not exactly sure if I have carpal tunnel or what I have there with that. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be darker down there. I mean, even though it's dark, it's got to be a lot darker. Nice deep dark green. Okay, and I'm going to use my number 12 bright. And we're just going to kind of make this darker, because this has to be real dark. Really dark. Ooh, maybe I should put a little bit more green in there. Let's add more yellow. That's real. There we go. This is better. And just do the same thing with the texture. You know, build that texture up. And then we're going to actually put, I'm going to have to go a little bit in here also. So we'll have to do those a little bit again. I am so sorry. That's why you watch the video first and then paint it. See if all the steps, once I get all the steps in, because sometimes, I mean, this is my first time back since all this, and although I have the idea of how I want to do it, I realize that this needs to be darker. Definitely darker, because it just isn't blending the way I want it to. And you know, you can tell, I mean, you can tell that there's something not right, that it should be darker, especially when you're putting in some of these shades here. And we can blend a little bit more with the other shade here, the green yellow. See, when it gets up into the furrow, it starts to come down. And that was when I mixed that other shade, but that's okay because it'll give it a little bit more texture. Okay, now I want to blend that, so I'm going to wet my brush a little bit so I can blend it a little bit better. Okay, get it up in there. Get that green and yellow. I'm going to mix that up again. Put this in there. Wipe off my palette knife. Grab equal parts of yellow and phthalo green. I can blend that. Make sure that's clean. All right. See, that looks good. That's much better. Much better. Get some of the light white, phthalo green, and yellow. Blend that into that. And then we'll just start all over again. We're going to just start all over again. What I'll do is edit this out some, just so that we can get it to look right. Get it nice and close to those little feathers that are there. Okay, let me get some of this other shade mixed up. Wipe my hands because they're getting all crappy looking. Really doesn't look too bad now. I think that's much better. And we got to paint the branch too. I'm sorry I left that out too. But I do want to mix up more of this white and yellow. I'll just go around in this here section. Okay. 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 Then we're going back into our green. This green, and well, we have to add a little white to that. I forgot about that. This has to have some white to it in order to blend here. Blend real nice. That sure doesn't look like a circle at this point. So we're just gonna kind of just lightly go through here, make the circle, blend it out, blend it out. Blend it out. That's the way. Keep that texture in here. Want that texture to still be in here. Just blend it lightly, lightly. Here we go. Blend it down into that nice green area. Get a little bit of this in here. You can always fix your mistakes. That's what's so great about acrylics. All right, let's do this little branch here. We're gonna make that, I wanna make that basically kind of dark. So I'm gonna start with my black. And then I'm gonna add some of the green to it on top. So we're going to have this basically black, and I'm just using my number 4 flat. And I'm going to need some water in this black because the black is a little, how I told you, it's a little weird. We're going to let it dry. Just leave a little bit on top so that we can put that green on there. A bright green. It has to be a fairly decent sized branch that our bird is on because it's a large bird, so it's not going to hold if it's a tiny little branch. Okay, right there. I can wipe that off. That little extra there that I got with my, just using my finger here and blending it in with my baby wipe. Now I'm going to pick up some of the green, some of the yellow, and I'm just going to kind of do a light top here with this, kind of blend it in with the black before the black starts to dry. I want to make sure that I have that green part in there, and then I'll add some highlight to it with the yellow. Make sure that this all matches up here. Right here. Okay. And this is pretty wide up here. That's good. All right, now I'm going to grab some yellow. just a little on my brush and kind of just go on top here just to highlight that green a bit. All right. Now, let's just blend it around. Let's make this look like it's rounded. So I'm just making little almost C's, not quite all C looking, but I'm going to grab some more yellow so that it'll show up a little bit more. So I'm just kind of like making little C's down. So I'm bringing some of that down, so this kind of gives it a little dimension on top. We want that branch to look like it's a branch. Okay. There we go. All right, now we'll be able to put in our foliage. But for now, if you can get to this point, we're good. And I'm so sorry for the way I did that before. So I'm going to go into my lighter green. Put some of those light pieces in that I had. So I have like, it's a light green. What I did is that mixture that I made for the darker leaves, I just put a little white in there. This is going into the background. Still making V's. Still making V's. It's just lighter. This is like way in the background. Can hardly see them. Make the V's because it's in the background. And you can overlap these, okay? They can be overlapped. And as you get down to the end of these things here, you can make those leaves a little bit bigger. See how I made them over here? They can be a little larger. But these are background. These are the back, way in the back. Then we're going to put like the little bit darker ones on top. But these are way in the back. So you can barely even see them. All right, now let's get to the green ones, the darker ones. Okay, and this is going to come down like this. So they start out small, the V's, and then you start to increase them. Increase those V's. You can kind of curl them a little bit. Make them, you know, they don't have to be a perfect V. If you find you're running out of green, load your brush again. Small, get them started to get bigger. Bigger, closer. You can have them nice and close. Got too much on there. They can overlap each other. That's what gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay. Have them overlap. Overlap one another here. We got to get this one back in there. Okay. Start out with small ones. Then I'm going to gradually have them get bigger. They will get larger. They can be rounded. They don't have to be V-shaped. I mean, it's just the idea that it is kind of like a V shape. You can make some with V's. You can make some without them. You can make some smaller if you want. They don't all have to be the same. Just going to add a little bit more green to this, just to make it a tad darker, just a little bit darker in here. So whenever they overlap each other, you can see it. Just put a little bit more phthalo into that. And because this is darker, we can kind of make that lighter. That plays off the dark. You want it to play off the dark. Some are going to be thicker than others. This one's coming down here like we did before. Paint is still wet, just go over it very lightly. This one should be getting bigger as it goes down towards the bird. So they start to get a little bigger. A little thirsty. So I'm not going to speed this up because I want to show you these and how you do it. Let's see. Let's put one right here. Comes up. Now you have to realize this is all the same color, but when you start to put it against light, it looks darker. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's all the same tone. All the same. Let's put one right here. Let's put it right here. Right there. You want to make a V? Make a V. But make this start to get bigger. Nothing is the same size in life. Nothing. Everything is different. And you want to kind of have that in this. You can have a little one right here. Ah. See? Look at that. Nice. Look at how nice that looks. Well, we got to put something right here, I think. Just a little one that comes out. Maybe it just comes down like this, right like that. Lives right in this area. Starts out small. And then the V's get a little bit bigger, right on top of each other. That's pushing those other ones backward. Grabbing more paint. Okay, Let's put some over here now. We gotta, I think if I'm not mistaken, I have to add more yellow, which I'm kind of running out of. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I have more yellow somewhere. Okay, I do. And this is yellow medium, same thing. It's just a different brand. And this is Master's Touch acrylic. So I'm going to put more yellow into this mix. And let's see. A little bit of phthalo green. More of the phthalo green to this mix. Actually, I might want to put a couple more of those in through there too, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph before I mix that up. Need to have some more in there. So I am just going to grab my brush. All right, I'm going to curve one that comes down here. Okay, now you can hold it at a 45-degree angle if you want to make them a little bit different. Make the V's 45 degrees. But I kind of like my V's sort of rounded in some spots. I don't want them all to be the same. Put one here. Oops. Yeah, I am recording. I thought I may have stopped recording. You have to keep my mind here where I'm at. Let's make some here too. Kind of like right there. That could be a little darker even. Let's see. Get a little bit more dark. Just so it shows up here. And you can also double load your brush if you want. That'll give it a little texture too. Alright, so I'm adding a little bit more of my yellow and my green to get to this current mixture. I'm going to make it a little darker. Just a tad. But not dark that it's not going to show up here. We want that to show. I'm wiping off my brush. Let's get some of these in here. So you'll have a color similar to that. And I kind of like have it marbleized. I don't have it mixed really well because I want to have that texture. It's all about texture. We want that texture in here. Okay? Here's a little one here. Okay. Make this nice and thick now. Start to make them a little bit bigger. If you push harder, you'll get thicker leaves. Okay, so I kind of double loaded this with a little bit of the light green. We'll see what happens here. Just for kicks. Let's see, I'm trying to think where I want to put one here. think I'm going to put it right here. Okay, this is light. Ooh, no good. No good. Let's get that out of there. We'll just wipe that out. Wipe it off with a paper towel. Put some of that black on there. Again, the dark shade that I mixed. Get that back in there. Get that texture moving around there. All right, let's do that again. That was just a little too light for this. Let's just put one right in here. Okay. Let's put V's. Nice little V's. See, if you press harder, they get bigger. Can twist them a little bit, make them look like they've got a little curve to them, like a fern. Put one right here. Now you don't want to overload this either. So when you're doing this, just kind of like do it so that it's not like overwhelming with these things. I mean, it's nice to have a lot in here, you know, because it is like the Amazon. There is a lot of brush in that Amazon, and it's okay to put enough in there, but you want to have some of your background in here too. Let's see. Let's have one right here. It comes down and it's behind that one. Okay, let's start here. Okay, I'm going to start making them bigger, and then it's behind so you won't see it so much. Okay, and once I get the bird colored in, I'll put some more in here too. Let's put one that's a different type of a bush here. We're going to put it right here, and it's just going to have, like, instead, like, here we got this, something like this. Okay. Let's see. One that comes here, nice and big. We'll just kind of do the same thing. I kind of like the way that went, but these could be nice and close. A little bit larger. Over that branch there. So this is your design, your painting. You do how you would like this to look. Doesn't have to be exactly like this. It can be a little different. That's what makes you an artist. You have the right and independence to make it your own. I'm just showing you different techniques. It's not something that, you know, I mean, this is all part of the learning of how to paint. It's all fun. It's just all fun. That's all it is. I'm going to I think I like this so much, I'm going to put one right up here. A little bit of light to it. Yeah, that was kind of cute. I like that. Yeah. And just have it come down behind that. And then you could have a little one coming over this way. Just really nice. What do you think? Do you like this? Love to hear your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, support me, all kinds of things that you can do to help me to continue here. I love bringing these lessons to you, even though I was off for a while. And hopefully I can continue to do this. You know, we as artists, we suffer a lot. I mean, this isn't all I do as far as art goes. I mean, I try to do some of my own work and commissions and all kinds of things. All right, now just to give this a little bit more pizzazz, I'm going to put a little highlight up top here, just kind of giving it that it looks natural. And that's only because I have a little bit extra on my brush, and it's a perfect shade for this. Just to get, and we're going to blend it down, blend it around, because I want it to look a little less, just to kind of have a little bit of highlight, because it doesn't look like it's highlighted enough. Okay, just blending it down. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit so I can blend it better. Same over here. I'm going to get some of that over here. And blend it in. Get maybe some of that dark and blend it up. Giving it a little bit more pizzazz than it had here. Making those little C's still. Little C's. Same here, just kind of giving it a little touch of color. So it kind of looks more dimensional. Okay, I'm just going to hit it a couple spots with the real light, just to kind of give it a little bit more pizzazz here. Lots of blending here, lots of blending. Sometimes you have to use your fingers in this too. just to get that extra oomph, to make it look like it's an actual branch that this bird is on. Okay, so our next step is to let's see. All right, our next step is to, we're going to start with the bird. And we are going to use a number 8 bright brush and some titanium white to paint around the parrot's eyes. So right in here, this is going to be white. Okay. Then we are going to use a number 2 and paint his eye in. Okay. We're also going to get some of this beak in. So that is our next step here. And we will put that in. Okay, so as I said, we're going to do the eye and the beak. So I'm going to get a smaller brush so I can get in there. Let's see, I have this number 2. It's a Simply Simmons. And I'm just going to paint inside that eye white. And the beak. And this is titanium white. I'm just using that titanium white that I brought up before. Going to use my finger to smooth this out a little bit. All right. So since we have that now, we're going to actually get some darker shade in the eye and around this part here of the beak, which is basically a light gray. So I have a neutral gray, and I'm going to use that. It's heavy body, and I have not opened this one yet. Okay, so it is Masters acrylic paint again, and I'm just going to do some work on that beak because we want that to look dimensional, and I'm still using this number 4. I'm just going in with my gray, and I'm going to go like this, just kind of blending it in a little bit. Taking some of that off, kind of just making it blend here. Giving it a little dimension. Just working it out so it kind of pops away from that. Now, I'm going to get a little round brush here. I have this one here. It's a number 2 round. I am going to put the eye in because I want to make sure I got that round in there. Just right there. Okay, and I'm going to outline with that number 2. I'm going to outline the beak with a steady hand. And underneath here, I'm going to make that black. using my round. And I'm going to just add a little white to that, just right in the center here, kind of lighten that up a bit. Okay. And this here, I'm just going to kind of like blend it so it doesn't look so harsh of a line. Okay. Kind of make it look a little more natural for him or her, whatever this is. Very good. Alright, so then we are going to mix some titanium. Okay, we did that. I think we want to actually, let's see. Okay, we're going to okay. And so we've got this. Okay. I want to get some red in here now. So I'm going to start putting in red, my bright red color. And I'm going to do that now. I'm going to get the top parts and his bottom parts of the feathers here. Right in here is red. So I think I want to use a bigger brush than that number. Maybe we'll use this number 4. How's that? Let's get some of that red in. This will start to help make this look like it's going somewhere. That all comes around here. We want to make sure we get that in that area here and around his eye. And this comes down, I guess, to about right in here. We're going to have that red. So let's get that in there with this brush. All these little pieces that I have traced in here, and you'll have that on your traceable. You just go around that and kind of meet them, little jaggedy like things. Kind of neat. This is looking really nice. What do you think? I almost thought that my camera was dead when I came in here later this evening or this afternoon. I had to take a break. It wasn't charging, so it was kind of dead, and I thought, oh geez, don't tell me my camera's broke. I was looking at cameras, and they're new ones, but they're just way too much out of my pay scale to get what I'd like to have. So we'll just make do with this one. It's still a nice camera. Okay. Oops. Okay, well that's alright that it's in there, because I have to get some color in here anyhow to mix with this to kind of give it some dimension. So since that did that, that's good. Kind of gave me what I needed. Okay, so I'm going to mix a little black with some red and get a little bit of shading going here while that is still wet. So just some black, kind of go into this like I did, kind of come over around the head here. This doesn't have to be crazy nuts shading, it's just a little bit to kind of make it look like feathery, you know, just a little feathery. So you're just kind of gonna make it just look feathery. That's what we want. I'm gonna grab some more of the yellow, red, kind of bring those little strokes coming up. All right, I'm gonna rinse that out, and we're going to do these feathers here. I want it red feathers down in here. Actually, I'd like to have one of them feathers like that. Like I say, this is your painting. I mean, you could add more to it. It's just that I gave you a pattern to follow, and that's what I'm doing here, something that you can follow. But it doesn't have to be exact as to that. This is what makes you an artist. You can change it. You have the artistic license to do so. Now I'm still using that number 4, and I'm kind of drawing this in instead of painting. When you're painting, you're further away, like you're holding your brush further away. I am kind of drawing these in because I want this to be a certain way. So and I'm going to go over that piece right there where I went out of the line so much. Now you'll still be able to see your lines if you have a transparent red. You'll see the lines where the feathers are. I love the sound of a paintbrush. It just is so cool on the canvas. Just like if you're using a pastel and you hear it on the paper. It just sounds so neat. Such an interesting sound. Love it. Okay, I'm going to rinse that out for now. And I am going to put some of that dark green that I made. That was a little bit of the phthalo green and some black, a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to fix this here. Just come in there very close. Whoops. I'm not very good at straight lines, I can tell you that. But come around here. Have a little shadow around our feather here. Now blend that out. Blend that out. Okay. We're going to put some more greenery in here too. Let me see here. Kind of wet my bigger brush here and just kind of blend this out a bit more. Push back that plant right there. Push that back, but I'm going to put more plants in after I'm done here because they're going to go over the bird. I still have that shaky hand. I have to rest it every so often. So I kind of just glazed that a little bit. It goes back a little bit, kind of. That's what this is, a glaze. Okay, so I've got my little brush again, rinsed it out real good, and we're going to go into that reddish black that I made, just a little bit of black and some red, and kind of just follow these feathery things like this. Just draw them in, and we'll blend it. We're going to blend these. Blend them in. Alright, so we got that. Now get some red and just kind of blend it. Just go over it. Kind of. This here can be taken out. Kind of just blend them in a little bit while it's still kind of wet. You want to do this when it's wet. And you still have a little bit of dampness to those. Okay, there we go. So that's all done. Now we're going to go on to our yellow color. So I got to get that onto my palette. And the other thing that I wanted to do, I need to get a really small detail brush. Let's see if I can find one, because we want to make some circles around his eye there. And I do have tiny little brushes that are made especially for that. This is a 20-0 liner, and I'm going to wet it a little bit. I'm going to go into my gray. Okay, and this is something we want to do with the eye. We're going to make little circles here. So let's just check this out here a minute. Okay. Yes. Okay. So they're not gonna. They're just. I have to make that eye a little bit bigger too. I kind of went in like this, like this. Okay, just like that. Now, let's see here. I'm going to get my smaller brush. And I'm going to go in with more white. Now this white is not that opaque, but since this is dry, I should be able to get in there a little bit better. We may have to put a couple more coats on this part. Okay. All right, so let's get the yellow in. I am going to use my number 4. The yellow in here. Just paint that in. We're going to do a little bit more detailing down in here too, because we got to make this look like there's feathers here. We want him to look like he's a real bird. We don't want him being flat. No flatness for this bird. Take your time to get around the edges. Take your time. Okay. I'm going to mix a little white and yellow. And a tad bit of red. And I'm going to get myself a nice little bit of orangey shade here. I'm just going to put some little spots here that kind of look like they are feathers. In this coat here. Just dabbing it here and there. Just giving it a little sparkle. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off, go into the red again. Just kind of go over it a little bit more here. And over on this side, I want to get a little darker, just a tad here. Just get some depth in here. And I'm kind of almost dry brushing it. Just dry brushing. It just starts to pop. So I'm like kind of glazing over some of this. Just kind of getting it to go and pop out a little. Just a little in certain spots here. So it makes it look more like feathers. So I'm going to work on this tail some. Also. I want this to kind of look a little bit more of like that it's got some depth to it. And I'm holding my finger onto this again, just so I get a decent, some control. Just want to get that control on that. A little bit more control. Wiping off my brush, going in again with some red, kind of just glazing over the area here. More. Okay. All right, so now this section here is going to be the blue. So I'm going to get my cobalt blue, put this out on my palette. We're just going to go straight in for now. We're going to make some feathery things here too, but right now we're going to get the blue in. And I'm going to use that number 4 again. Need to get some more paper towels. I can't find it. There we go. Alright. Well, he's starting to shape up. He's looking good. Alright. Now you want to be careful that you don't get this into the yellow because it'll turn green. Now go in the direction of your feathers, because like right here, these feathers are pointing this way. So you want to kind of go in the same direction as that. And like I said, try not to get into the yellow because you will end up with green. And I'm just kind of making my strokes short little strokes. Because we want this to be more like feathers. And this is kind of transparent, this shade here, so this color more transparent than most of them. So make it go this way, the stroke. You can almost see the lines underneath here from the tracing. So we want to try to keep those if we can. We can keep them, and you know that that you can see through a little bit. Alright, so now since we got some of this in here, I want to put a little bit of white strokes in. So I'm going to get my brush, while this is still wet a little bit, get a little blue, just a little bit of that blue. And let's put some feathery looks in here. Let's see. Okay, we're going to go with small strokes here. Let's see. Alright, we're going to kind of go like this. Okay, kind of go this way. Okay, let's blend it in. Blend it in. I want to blend it. Blend it down here. Might have to add more blue because this blue is really not the greatest. I don't really like that so much. Okay, let's see here. I can put a couple that come up like this. Come down this way. Okay. And get some littler ones up in here, little tiny ones. Featheries. Okay, add a little, once this dries wet, a little yellow to it. Now I'm going to put some yellow and red in there. Let's see here if we can get some featheries here. Go over it again with yellow. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, let's see here. We'll glaze over again with yellow. Just drawing little feathery things in here, just little marks that make it look like feathers. Ooh, well that went right up in there, didn't it? It's okay though, that looks pretty cool that way. Not good. That's okay. We'll get it off with a baby wipe here. There. Baby wipes come in handy. I'm going to use a smaller brush here. Trying to get these in. I think it would be better. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go over this again. Oh, gosh. Okay. This here. Alright, we're going to just do a glaze. Just go over those. Kind of making it a little bit less loud here. Okay, and we're going to make this just a tad dark here. I want these to have a couple areas here that I want that to be like more orangey. And it will start because yellow is very transparent, so when you put it onto this, it kind of gives it that little bit of push that makes it look like little featheries. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of yellow in these here areas just to highlight it. I'm going to get some white with that too. Some white, a little bit of yellow. Brighten some of this up here. Okay. Now I'll go into the blue. Darken some of these areas here. I want to darken them up. Give it a little depth. I might go over that in white because I don't like that too much. It kind of looks greenish. So we're probably going to go over those little areas there that I just put in with some white. I don't care for that too much. I wanted to have some glow from this up here, but sometimes, you know, it can backfire on you. See, this is better. Just put little just little feathery things. Just dab a couple little areas again. some more of that blue. Okay, I think he's pretty much done. I just have to put in some more of these stuff in there, but put some white in there also on top of that just to see what happens here. Not sure if I can get that. That's a little bluish. Let's see. If I can lighten it up a little. Well, just want to get some of that lighter. So now I'll go into my yellow. Sometimes you can just mix things right on your canvas, but you have to be careful because you can make mud. You have to make sure that the colors are going to go okay together. You don't want to make mud on it. Right here I think we need to get a little bit more of a, here's one here. Okay, let's get some more of this on so it kind of looks feathery. Let me bring one right into that. Here, right here. Should be one here. Okay, just grabbing some yellow just to put in through here a little bit more. Just kind of like a stroke. Nothing fancy, just a little stroke. Gonna come up here too. Just kind of giving it a little bit of highlight. Okay. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good. All right, let's get some more of those little branches in. Okay. I'm gonna draw some of those back in too. I'd like to have one come down here. Just, well, let's see if I can bring it down like that. All right, so we know we have to make it with a V. So we're going to make V's, smaller V's. Then as we get closer to that part right there, they're going to get longer. Okay, start to get longer. This is going right on top of that other one, pushing that one back a little bit. Oops. Okay. And I'd like to have another one right in here somewhere. Right here. Lives right in here. V. Small. Then they start to get bigger. So petals or whatever these are, leaves, get bigger as it goes down. All right. I think think I want one right about here. Just a small one. Just a small one. Has to be behind the parrot. Let's put one over here. See, when we knocked that back, it made it look like it was some depth in here. And you can actually, what you can do, grab some of that, add a little black to it, and just put some little dabs in here that kind of makes it look like there's stuff back in here too. Just a few little dabbles. Actually, you know, like in through here. Some kind of thing that comes out there. You could have one that comes down. A few little dabblies here. And it just looks like there's something back in the back here. But there's not enough. Kind of just, if you have some on your paintbrush, it kind of just looks like there's something back there. I'm going to wipe that off. And I am going to put one of these like this. Okay. I'm going to put one. I'm going to use a lighter one here and have something coming out of here. Just some little okay, and it can come through here too. Okay, let's get some of this lighter and have one come down here. Right on top. Right there, okay. I'd like to add one with a little bit more yellow. So I'm going to mix some of that shade up that we used with some extra yellow. And make something real bright here. Just a little brighter. Right here. Something bright. Without getting too carried away, I'm just trying to make some various different bushes here. And I think that is enough, actually. There is one that comes down here, and I think I'm going to try to do that the way I painted it before. So I'm just going to add one that comes down like that. Okay. And I am going to turn my canvas upside down. Use some of that yellowish color. More yellow. And kind of just make the V's. Holding my brush sort of like on an angle. making these come down and get bigger. It's almost like drawing a Christmas tree. Just make sure that it gets bigger as it comes towards this. They don't have to be huge, but you want them a little bit bigger so that it looks more natural. All right. Just give a little highlight to some of these. Okay. All right. I think we have it. I really like it. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you can give me a thumbs up and make some comments. Subscribe if you like this, if you like my channel, to see future paintings. Help support me on Patreon. I would really love it, especially, you know, all I'm asking is $1 for the tracing. And hopefully you'll enjoy this painting and you can do it. I think it's an easy painting. It just takes a little time. But it is fun. It was very fun to make. I enjoyed this. So if you could continue watching, I'd appreciate it. Once again, thumbs up. And until next time, bye.